On the morning of September 29, 1936, the first day of classes, 515 Laurentians entered the classrooms of Pop and Mem Hall to find their neat rows of desks gone, replaced by beautiful, oval-shaped oak tables. The tables, made possible by the philanthropist Edward Harkness, were part of a new teaching method, encouraging Socratic conversations among classmates and teachers alike. This seemingly innocuous change to Lawrenceville's classrooms would echo throughout generations of students to come.
In the spring of 1936, we went away, and there were no Harkness tables. And in the fall, when classes started, we walked into the classroom, and here they were. It changed the entire teaching system, I believe. Instead of having a teacher up there at a blackboard, probably with his back to this class, he was standing at the head of the table and mixing with us. I think we saw that and appreciated it.
One of my most vivid recollections of the Harkness table was a professor by the name of Whizzer Wyman, and he was a math teacher. And he would sit in the middle of the table, not at the end, and he had a long stick with a rubber pointer on the end of it. And all the kids would be writing their answers and so forth, and he'd reach out with a stick and grab the paper and grade it and flip it back to you, and it was quite unusual. No other master at Lawrenceville did that to my knowledge. He was quite a character.
You didn't feel like you were being lectured to, you were part of the process. There was a sense of communication with your fellow classmates as well as with the master of the particular subject you were in, and it was extremely appealing.
The idea, of course, with the Harkness table is that there's no back of the room. Everybody's in the front row, which is, there's no place to hide.
At first, I found it very intimidating. If you hadn't done your work, or if you were not particularly self-confident, you really didn't want to volunteer to talk and be called on, but because of the size of the class and the nature of the table, you had to be part of the conversation. As you get more comfortable with it, more comfortable with your classmates, it becomes easier and easier.
To me, the Harkness table means that the kids are asked always to be engaged in the conversation. There's nobody sitting down and learning passively. Everyone has to have an active part, be it just to ask a question of clarification.
Agape, everyone say it. Agape. Which is the central principle.
I think it works because you're looking each other in the eye, literally. You know, you're explaining your ideas, you're defending your ideas, you're asking about other people's ideas. I'm a journalist and editor at the Times, and so we sit at these tables a lot. And you know, we debate, we argue, we confront ideas and each other, and so it feels very natural. It feels like I'm at a Harkness table every day.
It really sort of deconstructs the whole idea of what teaching is about. When I was going through school, there was sort of this notion that the teacher was this remote authority figure that was kind of transmitting knowledge unilaterally to the kids. And here, you know, it doesn't work that way at all. It really is a much more collaborative, interactive process. And it really is an extraordinary way to teach.
One of the things that I loved about the Harkness tables was the fact that it equalized everyone. There were different social stratas represented, but when we sat at the table, we were all equal.
Learning around the Harkness table is one of the best features about Lawrenceville because I get to sit around a class and rather than being lectured to, it's more of an open discussion where I get to be equal amongst all of my students and even the teacher.
The biggest difference really is the interaction that you have between the students in the class discussions. It's a more intimate setting and a more productive one.
It makes life around here very exciting, and that's one of the things that I really love about the classroom here at Lawrenceville. Never a dull day.
This Harkness thing has a kind of culminating moment when there's an explosion of analysis and content and listening, and that is a very powerful process.
Words can't even explain the feeling I get from being around a Harkness table.
In the final analysis, we do Harkness because Harkness is good teaching.
I believe that the Harkness table 75 years from now will be just as important and just as profound as I found it while I was at Lawrenceville.